Am I the a-hole for not helping family and friends financially when I can is the topic of the first story. My son Nick was born 17 years ago with a heart problem that wasn't there at birth. To make sure he would live another year, he had to have surgery in Israel that cost $60,000. During the first 3 months of his life, I begged people for money and ran around. These people gave us $100. Their jobs paid well, and the government offered them money. When I asked my brother for help, he said that he had to save money for his daughter's college. Also, she didn't go. Anyone who met her could have told him that. But they did take many breaks by going on trips abroad. Each of the 40 people in my work group gave $30 in a gift. At one point, I really thought about selling my heart and liver. My in-laws sold their apartment for $35,000. A $700 gift from my best friend. That was all he had. As an adult, I only cried once, when I decided to let him help me. My car, some furniture, and gadgets were the only things I didn't bolt to the walls. Since my in-laws moved in, we've lived together for 5 years. 5 people were crammed into a flat with 2 bedrooms. The surgery went well. I started a job that turned out to be a great one. I finally moved our offices to a country in the middle of Europe so we could be closer to our clients in the EU. It took me years of hard work. Even though the business holds about 2/3 of my money, I have a lot of cash. My in-laws now live in a 4-bedroom house. They were paid to take vacations 3 to 4 times a year until 2020. My son works hard, which makes me proud to be a dad. People who didn't help back then don't bother me. Hate is a strong word. I know what to do now, so I don't expect anything from them. Mom and Dad can't come over. They can pay for their flights in their hotel room, but the flights are on them. They won't get paid like my in-laws do. My brother asked for a loan to start his own business 5 years ago. I said it wasn't the right time. 2 months ago, his high school daughter was in a car accident. Nobody thought she was going to die, but she has a lot of ugly scars on her legs that need pricey surgery to fix. Because I want my kids to do well in school, I told him to think about getting smaller. People who used to work with me and wanted to join my business once it started up were told to follow the normal steps. Not my best friend. I sleep better at night when I'm with him because I know we'll look out for each other. There are too many sad people in my life to list. We expect you to help your family and the people around you. Help people. People often show favoritism toward their relatives. Bring your family along. Help your friends move to the West if you live there. They told me straight out that they are ashamed of how much Western culture has changed me. People have called me in a hole, careless, and many other things. Reddit. After hearing my story, tell me, am I right? Anyone who wants to know why my parents didn't really react can now know that the surgery only worked 40% of the time. In their minds, we should let nature do its thing. Instead, try to have a new child. Folks in the West might think it's awful, but people here wouldn't think it's that cold. But it was clear that my wife and I didn't like it. Here are the most important words. No, Dayhal is not. They gave you $35,000 after selling their house. Your best friend helped your son in every way he could. No one helped you or your son, not even the people who said they would. Because they were one of the only people who was there for you when you were at your worst, giving them everything hurts. You were going to sell your kidney for your son because no one else could help you. People who used to work for you but didn't help you get your business don't deserve it. Also, they should be able to apply like everyone else. Your family is mad at you because you didn't tell them you did well. If you can't take me when I'm bad, you don't deserve me when I'm good. In terms of your family, that's true for both you and your son. No, Dayhal is not. But the people you used to work with and your parents are. No. Today was the first day that the phrase "can't handle me at my worst" made sense to me. Thanks for being nice to me. No, Dayhal is not. They don't have to help you, and you don't have to help them. Don't help them. They say things like, let nature take its course, and instead try for a new baby. Do they really mean that? Who would say that to someone? They basically told you to kill your son and have another child. You can't call right now. Nobody needs these kinds of people in their life. It's hard to understand, but it's not as bad as it sounds for people who were born and raised there. I don't know how to say that it seems wrong. I think the only strange thing is that bone marrow jello is a treat in some places and is served on holidays. And in some places, telling someone this is food would make them go WTF. The next story is called, Am I the a-hole for honoring the wishes of my late brother? a 45-year-old man, and not telling his ex-wife, a 46-year-old woman, about his illness or death. My parents died when I was 11 years old. My 45-year-old brother raised me because I didn't have any other family in the US. He was good and a lot like my dad. Olivia is 46 years old, and he met her when I was 15. Before they got married, they were together for 2 years. They had 2 kids together. Amalia was 14 and Sarah was 12 years old. They were glad to be with each other. My brother was living his dream because he loved his family. 5 years ago, my girls and Olivia's brother, their uncle, went camping. On the way back home, a drunk car hit them. Olivia and Amelia's brother died at the scene. Sarah lived to get to the hospital, but she died during surgery. My brother almost broke. So Olivia could get help. He was able to suffer alone. I thought they were strong because they got through it. From the outside, it looked like they loved each other. Olivia told my brother she was a girl last year, even though they had been together for 23 years. Then she asked for a split. Everyone was shocked. That made my brother really mad. While the breakup was going on, my brother got sick. He finally learned that he had stage 2 pancreatic cancer. My brother was very sad when he heard the news. From Houston to Hartford, I moved him in with me. He stopped talking to everyone. He told Olivia about the breakup through his lawyer, and after that they stopped talking. He told me not to tell anyone about his illness, and then he deleted all of his websites and apps. He felt sad all the time. He had 1 major surgery and 2 rounds of the drug. He was going to die anyway because it didn't work. There was no more sadness in the world for my brother. He didn't talk to many people at that point. When he felt like it, he liked to play with my kids. If not, he would have just watched old movies and look at old pictures. Before he died, he told me he didn't want a funeral. He was eager to be set on fire. I kept his ashes in a certain spot and didn't tell anyone he had died. He used to walk the girls around this Vermont lake on hikes. It was clear from what he said that he only wanted to be forgotten. My brother passed away in September. I did everything he asked, and in October I went to spread his ashes. Olivia came to my house last Thursday. Even though she wanted to spend Christmas with him, she told him she couldn't talk to him. I told her what had happened when she came in. She was very upset by the news. She first told me I was lying. Then she told me I took him from her and she should have known before the split. She also told me I shouldn't have spread his ashes because he shouldn't have had to die by himself. She shouldn't get in trouble because I was with him when he hurt her. She got scared. I tried to calm that woman down, but she got mad. I told her to leave because my kids were scared. She told other people that he was dead. On social media, people I don't know, my brother's friends and her family are now bugging me. Reddit. You made me think that maybe I'm being a jerk. Don't be a jerk. That's the most important thing in this post. You did what your brother told you to do. But since it's already out there, write him a tombstone. Some people say that he asked that the news of his death be kept hidden, and he also chose to only tell a few people about his diagnosis. If someone asks, you can say that Olivia legally had the right to know what was going on, but he chose not to tell her. This is a good plan. You might want to tweet or post it on Facebook, not Day Hall. When he died, you did what he asked. Once she was no longer with him, she had nothing to do with this. Also, just showing up without telling you isn't really how things work. Your brother told you to do this. You cut him off from his family. She wasn't anymore. Not her choice. Let everyone know they can do it. It's not their business. God. No way. A lot of bad things have happened to you. There's no link, but you're very strong. Dayshell isn't at all. You don't have to pay the other person or their family anything after you break up if you don't have kids together. You only needed to do what your brother told you. She must feel very bad about what she did, and is probably still trying to deal with how sad things were when she was with the girls. Still, you didn't need to tell her anything. I'm sorry things have been so bad for you. Thanks, but I've never been better than my brother. He took me when I was sad and didn't say anything bad about it. They took care of me, cooked for me, and helped me with my chores, just like a mom would. When I was sick, they took care of me, helped me feel better after my first loss. He did everything he could to make sure I wouldn't have to borrow any money to go to college. He never said anything bad. He was really strong. The next story is here. Should I not spend a lot more on my 18-year-old brother than I did on my younger siblings? That means my half-siblings are a lot younger than me. To make a long story short, my mother died when I was about 13 or 14, and my dad soon after left me for a woman half his age. The kids are made up of 18 boys, 14 girls, and 12 boys. Our dad is really rude most of the time. For him, tough love hands off and let my wife do all the work. I'll just be the disciplinarian have always been ways of life. After 3 months of turning 18, all of his kids have to leave the house. This is one of his tougher or stranger rules. Yeah, this was true for me too, but my mom and grandpa both left me a lot of money when they died. Plus, I learned how to do my job at that company, and now I'm in charge of it. I had enough money to be happy about moving out. My younger brother didn't do as well. He only had one way to make money, which was a part-time job in a pub. Besides that, he has some mental health issues. He has mood disorders like depression, OCD, and I think a wanting problem that make his life harder. Plus, he turned 18 this year. I thought my dad would be less strict. My brother still had to leave though. He stayed with me for a while, then got his own apartment to live in. He's really just about making it. That's a different story. I wish he'd come back to mine. I wanted to do something nice for Kit for Christmas because he's had a rough year. He got a PS5 and some games for it as a gift, along with some other small treats. I also paid his rent for a few months to make him feel better. The Christmas present this year was pretty nice. In other words, I didn't make him or myself owe anything. Still, I wouldn't have paid that much 3 times or again. I still bought my kids a lot of things that cost a lot of money. My sister got some Air Max shoes she's been wanting for a long time for Christmas, and my brother got a Jack Wills coat. They got some other things too. It was around $200 for each of my younger brothers and almost $2,000 for my oldest brother. I'm not going to say the exact amount. I didn't say anything about it. Our dad and my stepmother found out though, and they're both very mad at me now. They say that I pick on my younger brothers and beat them up because I'm mad at my dad. My biggest brother should not expect as much for Christmas now that he is an adult, and my younger 2 brothers are still kids. My wife won't agree with anything else. Because of it, they both don't want to talk to me right now, and the 18-year-old feels bad about it all. Because they are so mad about it now, I'm not sure if I did something wrong. Not Day Hall. What you do for your grown brothers is none of their business. When the other 2 turn 18, you'll help them if they need it. Kids might feel bad about it when they think about it now. You could give someone the same number of gifts on Christmas and do something nice for them on a different day. It's crazy that the kids don't seem to care. Only my dad and stepmom are mad. No, Day Hall is not. I'm sorry about what your brother is going through, Opie. It's very kind of you to try to make him feel better. That's a great brother to have. Were you really so nice to all of your brothers? The younger 2, on the other hand, still have a place to live and family close by. If they were having trouble, I'm sure you would have helped them just as much. The truth is that they're not. They are wrong to tell you that you don't owe them anything. In this case, a dad and a child. The kids didn't lack anything or get nothing. You still gave them really nice gifts. Not Day Hall. They don't care what you do with your money. They probably don't want anyone to know that they aren't paying attention to their son, who is having a rough year. You shouldn't make your kids move out when they turn 18, to make it stay. I tell them that the PS5 was a Christmas present and the other gifts were just because. Say something like, I helped him out even though he's not my child. The last story is now over. Is it rude of me to not let the sister of my husband use my cloths and blanket for babies? My 26 woman, I lost the pregnancy 6 months ago, 27 weeks into it. I still think of him as alive, because he almost made it, but didn't, and we missed the chance to raise him. My sister-in-law got pregnant at the same time as me, which has made things really hard. Her first child is about to be born. Not long ago, we got along great most of the time. The baby stuff they had was mostly ruined when my husband's sister and her husband had problems with their home. He also lost his job during COVID, which means they have less money. My husband's sister asked if they could have the clothes we bought for our son and the blanket I made for him since they still need them. To help, my husband went shopping for baby clothes while they were away. People asked us to leave the stuff, but we said no. She was mad and didn't get it. It was during their time of need that she said we were the least helpful. She also asked how we could refuse to give our future niece or nephew clothes and a blanket. He was told that her child could wear them, but our son wouldn't because he was too big for them. That wasn't fair, my husband told her. She told me that being a mom who doesn't do enough for her kid made her very mad. I'm unhappy, angry, and sorry. She's really far along now, while I wasn't even that far along with my son. It's tougher for me since I feel so bad. Another thing is that I haven't seen a doctor since November because the one I was seeing quit without making an announcement. I can feel how this has broken up the family. Still, I don't want to get rid of or change anything in the room. Am I being a jerk? Now for the thoughts. Not the jerk. She doesn't have any say in how you deal with your grief or what you give up right now. Never. I'm really sorry about the death of your son. You can keep all of his things no matter who you need to. If you want, you can save them for your next child. You don't have to give them to your sister-in-law. That's right. No one can take someone else's things. Opie can give her kids to someone else if she doesn't want to have more. No, Dayhal is not. That girl should leave right away. She thinks you're rude. If you don't give her the blanket you made for your child, that means she can't get her child a blanket ever. A lot of different groups could help them out when they needed baby stuff. She doesn't need yours. He wouldn't wear them, she told him, but her kid might. She told me that being a mom who doesn't do enough for her kid made her very mad. As a mom, you should know how awful it is to lose a baby while you're pregnant, so I'm mad at you. Then it's mean to make babies do things and say mean things to them. Change to Ed. I'm so sorry for your loss. Hugs. Not down a hole. Your sister-in-law has no right to ask for the baby gifts you made, but bought for her out of love. Keep the things that remind you of him, like the blankets you made for him. It's okay to still be sad about the terrible loss you went through. People have to give your sister money, but she can't force them to. What she said was rude, so she needs to calm down. Wish you the best on your trip with your husband. Soon, you should be able to find a new doctor. That's all this show is about. Please leave a review, like, and follow as always. Also, allow alerts to learn about new videos if you'd like to see more of this. I'll see you on the next one. Be careful.